Hello, students. So, today we'll continue the chapter Rat Trap from page number 35. First paragraph. It was late in December. Darkness was already descending over the forest. This increased the danger and increased also his gloom and despair. Now, he was very much sad, as if he was very much gloomy because darkness is spreading all over, all around him, and he's all alone in the forest. Finally, he saw no way out and he sank down on the ground, tired to death, thinking that his last moment had come. Now he's thinking that his last moment has arrived, as if he is all alone there and all over is there is darkness. But just as he laid his head on the ground, he heard a sound, a hard, regular thumping. There was no doubt as to what that was. He raised himself. Those are the hammer strokes from an iron mill. And as if he was very much tired, he was lying down on the ground. That much tired he was. And suddenly he heard a sound of thumping of a hammer. So he realized, yes, somebody is there. He's not all alone there. So he raised himself. Anyhow, he got up. Those are the hammer strokes from the iron mill. And obviously, it was the sound of the hammer strokes that was from iron mill, which is very much nearby to him, as if he heard sound that much clearly. He thought there must be people nearby. He summoned all his strength, got up and staggered in the direction of the sound. As I told you, he got up, he just summoned all his strength and he started moving towards that direction from where the sound was coming. So the Ramjo Iron Works, which are now closed down, were not so long ago a large plant with smelter, rolling mill and forge. In the summertime, long lines of heavily loaded barges and scows slid down the canal, which led to a large inland lake. Now, this Ramjo Ironworks, actually, it was no more that much kind of like influence, we can say, it was having at that time, because it is very old, like ironworks. So it is very old mill. So he started thinking that how, like when he started moving there, so in summertime, like little bit kind of work of rolling or like forging, it was going on there. So he started moving towards it, and as if it was winter time. So in summer, like it is very much active, but in winter, like very few people might be there because almost it is closed at that time due to cold. So which led to a large inland lake, and in the winter time, the roads near the mill were black from all the coal dust, which sifted down from the big charcoal crates. Now means as if in summertime, like it is just through the canal we can cross that canal and we can move to that like Ramjo Ironworks. But here in winter time, roads were fully covered with coal dust and with charcoal crates. So he started moving from there. Anyhow, he have to reach till that plant. So during one of the long dark evenings, just before Christmas, the master smith and his helper sat in the dark forge near the furnace waiting for the pig iron. Now, when he reached there, he saw that, like, because it is just a time before Christmas, so he saw that master smith and his helper, they all are sitting around, and one person, like one big pig iron, they are waiting for, and all are doing work of forging, so which had been put in the fire to be ready to put on the anvil. Now they have put in the fire, as if you might have seen blacksmith, what they used to do, they used to make that much heat, that iron like a piece whatever they are working on, and then they used to start put on the anvil and they used to beat it. So that way they are doing their work, and it is just ready to put on the anvil. Every now and then one of them got to stir the glowing mass with a long iron bar, returning in a few moments, dripping with perspiration through, as was the custom. He wore nothing but a long shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. So the person who was working, he was totally, means we can say that he was dipped into sweat, and he was just perspirating at that time, and he was just wearing a shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. That's it, as if it is their custom. As we know, if we go to like any blacksmith, we'll find out he might be wearing only vest and like a kind of we can say shoes or something. So they used to sit there. So in the same manner, he is also working. All the time there were many sounds to be heard in the forge. The big bellows groaned and the burning coal cracked, the fireboy shoveled charcoal into the maw of the furnace with a great deal of clatter. Now, all the time, as if sounds he heard many times of forging, so he saw when he reached there, he saw that, like as usual, big bellows, like some sound was coming of burning coal, like cracking in fire. That sound could be heard, and one boy is standing there, and he's with his shovel, he is just taking charcoal and he is putting up in the maw of the furnace. So he is working, like they are working so hard there. So that time he reached there. Outside roared the waterfall, and a sharp north wind whipped the rain against the black tiled roof. So as soon he in, like outside, if we hear a sound of like wind is coming, and like brick tiled roof, it is hitting, just wind is hitting towards it, and that sound could be heard. So he heard that kind of sound also there. It was probably an account of all this noise that the blacksmith did not notice that man had opened the gate and entered the forge. So that might be the reason that that blacksmith, he didn't hear like this person entered, he opened the gate and he is entering, until he stood close up to the furnace, until he reached that furnace. Like nobody was aware. He reached there, he's standing there, and when like he reached there and he's standing nearby the surface, sorry, that furnace, then only they saw that yes, person have entered. Surely it was nothing unusual for poor vagabonds without any better shelter for the night to be attracted to the forge by the glow of light which escaped through the sooty panes, and to come in the warm into warm themselves in front of the fire. So it's like usual, as if we see it is December time, very cold. So he was very much happy as he got that much heat nearby that furnace. So he decided to take shelter as if he is a vagabond. So we know very well that every night or every evening he have to take somewhere shelter. So he decides like this could be the best place for him, as a fire is also there, he will sit beside, and he will get some heat from there. The blacksmith glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder, because he is just like an intruder. So they just casually they interacted him, and like even not that much happy kind of. So he looked the way people of this type usually did, with a long beard, dirty ragged, and with a bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. So a kind of look has been described here of that like rat trap seller or vagabond, that he is so much dirty, as if very much like filthy, and he is wearing, and he's ragged, like totally shabby dress he is putting on, and like dangling, his chest is dangling with that rat traps which he is going to sell. He asked permission to stay, and the master blacksmith nodded a hearty consent without honoring him with a single word. Now he asked permission that may I stay here for this night. So without giving any good honor, like blacksmith, he nodded his, he just gave a consent, yes he may, like he gave a permission. The tramp did not say anything either. He had not come there to talk but only to warm himself and sleep. Even tramp did not say anything. He just sat there, and as if he wanted just to heat, give some heat to himself. So he sat there, and he decided to sleep. In those days the Ramjo iron mill was owned by a very prominent iron master whose greatest ambition was to ship out good iron to the market. Now this, in those days, like this iron mill, it was owned by a prominent iron master, and his great ambition was only one thing, that to ship out good iron to the market. So he watched both night and day to see that the work was done as well as possible, and at this very moment he came into the forge on one of his nightly rounds of inspection. So that time only this iron master, he came there for inspection as usually he used to come. So that day also he came to inspect, and he like came over there and he started looking up the work of forging. So naturally the first thing he saw was a tall ragamuffin who had eased his way to so close to the furnace that steam rose from his wet rags. Now suddenly, like certainly it happens, like if somebody, a stranger is sitting, he also came, and he came across this stranger, that ragamuffin, means the kind of dress he is wearing and the look he have. So he is termed as here ragamuffin. So he started looking at him, and he's very much close to furnace, and steam is coming out from his dress because it was wet rags. So that is why steam was coming due to heat. So the ironmaster did not follow the example of the blacksmiths, who had hardly deigned to look at the stranger. He walked close up to him, looked him very carefully, then tore off his Slout had to get a better view of his face. Now, he did not do as the like that person, that blacksmith did. What did Iron Master do? He just went on close to him. He started looking on to him, and to the stranger, and he just like to just have a better view of his face. But of course it is you, Niels Olof, he said. How you do look now. He just came across him, and he started like giving him as if identity of a person that he might be knowing, that is Neil Olof. So he started calling him Neil Olof. Oh, you are here, and how do you look like? What happened to you? Like this way you are looking. So he started thinking of that. So till here today, and rest of explanation we'll be having in our next session. Thank you.